And welcome to episode... I'm going to start again.
No, keep that in. That's fine.
Oh my god.
Blooper.
Oh, lose. Yeah, okay. Wonderful.
Episode 6.
Episode 6. Yeah, episode 6. And the ref chokes to death. Welcome back to episode 6 of RollQuests. Part 2 of our double recording episode, which we will release next week. Right, okay, everybody. No, well, if I released it, I've already released it. I started again. This is just such a mess. Oh, take the time.
This needs to be appended at the end of the episode.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
okay,
God,
we
yeah.
can stick these on the outtakes at the end. So,
Yeah.
welcome everybody to episode 6. Part 2 of our double bill recording. Okay, so just before we all had a break and came back for this special episode, we just saw Traeth perform a ritual that seemed to be as though it was going all wrong and not good at all, and somehow managed to pull a staff from his body, and that's where we will pick up, people.
I believe Emrys tore the staff from my body and then tried to make away with it, and I had to stop him by grabbing it.
This is true.
Who's the thief now, huh?
You, Rhiv. You.
Yeah, she's still got a point.
You.
I think technically we all are.
I need to rest. That's taking
I
all
hope
my
this
energy.
isn't from your legs.
Carry you. Like,
You are exhausted. You don't necessarily need carrying, but she seems to be exceptionally strong, and maybe being carried could be fun for a while.
I'll take it. It's the best offer I've had all week.
oh, no.
Truly is the only offer you've had all week, but good.
That makes it the best.
However, can you give me a general perception roll, please, Traeth?
Can I? Yes. Will I succeed at it? Probably not.
It's not going to be a difficult one.
I know, but you've seen the roles we've had.
You're all level 2 at the moment, by the way, so come on, you should be masters.
Yeah, we've all had 5%.
You're not missing a leg, you Dom.
No, it just cost me an arm and a
Yet.
leg. Where's general? I can't see general perception on my character sheet.
It's in the perceptions.
Oh, in that
Yes,
case, then
I
just
can't
roll us a D100 and I can probably guess.
Ooh.
Wow. Okay.
I can't
Somebody
make
said he's not very good at it.
No.
Just as well, eh?
As Lumi throws you over her shoulder and offers to carry you around, you notice the obvious fact that she has a hood on her cloak that seems to be attached to what looked like very large growths from the back of her shoulders. That it's not actually a cloak, but they are the tops of some kind of wings that she is holding into the shape of a cloak. Being this close with your head basically thrown over her back, you can't really miss it.
Your secret's safe with me.
Oh,
Vampire.
There's a lot of that
Vampire
going
bat
on.
lady.
See?
Vampire bat lady, do you say? Okay, well, there's a worry for everybody.
Vampire bat lady.
I would Ash, I would check your neck quick. Right, okay. Everybody else, carry on.
Thank you.
Take him back to stables, I suppose, if that's where he wants to be.
He just needs a rest. He is shattered after that. It didn't go the way he expected that ritual to go.
And I do believe me and Ash were going to the supply store, yes?
Yeah.
We can just put me outside the front of the supply store. I can sit down there just as well as at the stables, Lumi.
I mean, as I said last session, you have the list of supplies. If there's anything particular that you need to ask me about, then please do.
I sent you a message about clothes.
Yeah, that's fine. You can all
Other than
acquire
that, it's
yourself
just
some
general
clothes.
stuff. But I say I will. I'm assuming. I'm assuming that somebody has given me the cash for this.
Yes, that would be me.
Yeah, okay.
I've
Yeah.
already taken the
I
gold
can
off.
tell by his pain expression. I
But,
can
like-
tell.
So we have
As we're
Lumi.
actually going into the supply store, or like just about to, I'll stop Ash and pull him aside a moment.
Yes.
I think we need to have a little bit of a talk. Just you and I.
About what?
I'm not buying that it's a thing in my bag, throws the door story. What's going on there?
Not my tale to tell.
Lumi, then.
She seemed that she didn't want to say it in front of everybody this morning, so I covered for her.
Understandable. But I will make the point of saying we're meant to be keeping a low profile. Freezing the door shut doesn't keep a low profile.
Indeed, which is why I think we should find ourselves a small property somewhere that has nobody in it. So
You can leave that to me.
Excellent.
In the meantime, and I'll take the completely messed up crossbow and I'll hand it towards him. If you could find someone to repair it, that would be quite helpful.
I shall see if there is the person who makes the crossbows round here will do this for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then I'll go off and start looking for a house.
Is there any secrets you want to tell me? I'm very good at keeping them. It appears not.
Secrets I want to tell you.
No, never mind. But
Maybe another time.
I'm easy to talk to, mainly because I don't care.
That does help. Right.
I shall do my best for you then.
Yeah, you do your thing.
And you do yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna, and then I'll just sort of like
awkwardly move away.
Yeah, just like I'm gonna. Yeah.
Slide backwards into the hedge.
Okay, so Rhiv, you're going to.
I'm going to be skirting around I guess, just the outsides of town, just looking for a house that's evidently unoccupied.
Yeah, and you're not going to make it unoccupied. You actually do want to find an unoccupied house. Or you're trying to find somebody that maybe has got a house too large and arrange some kind of deal. Or do you actually really want an abandoned house?
Well, we'll try for the abandoned house to start off with, but if that's evidently not going to be the case, then otherwise we can make some sort of deal loosely.
Okay.
The abandoned haunted house on the edge of town.
Yes.
Because if I remember correctly from the other session, that this is what with our map that we see is the main part of it. There are still buildings further on, yes?
That is correct, yeah. As you move further away, they're more like little homesteads, little farms, little areas whereby people are trying to grow various things that need space. The houses here at the center are usually occupied by people that aren't farmers, so they don't require space, so they're performing some other function. But yes, you're going to have a look around to see what you can find, Rhiv, no problem at all.
Yeah.
And Ash, asking in the supplies area, the blacksmith in town actually helps create the crossbows. You'll see on the map there is a blacksmith. That's correct.
Because I have a bit of blacksmithing in me, so to speak.
You can visit the blacksmith and see if he can do something with your crossbow. Not a problem. So,
it's a strange way to word it, but all right.
Emrys, Lumi and Traeth had gone to the stables to let Traeth rest for a moment. Emrys, did you go with them?
Yeah, we'll go. Just
Yeah, I'll stick as a grandmother and wander off.
put him in front of the supplies.
Okay.
We didn't get to the stables. We stopped in front of the supplies, and then I wanted to have a little chat with Lumi and find out. You've got wings. That's so cool. Okay. Sweet. Oh no. Yeah, I'm gonna need a recover first.
Traeth,
Too much excitement in one day.
being a druid, you can give me a animal handling roll.
I don't want to handle the wings.
No, but you can give me an animal handling roll.
That's
Yes.
Object.
Yes, I agree. We object. Just because she's got wings.
102. You
So
are
well.
you are on a roll tonight. Okay. You don't know the strength of her body or her wings, but you make an assumption that unless her actual bones were made of sawdust or I don't know some super light material, she's not actually going to be able to utilize that wingspan and those wings to get much lift. She's going to be far too dense. So that's from an animalistic point of view. You're thinking
Super strong, has wings, and might be able to do magic. I don't think the wings are because of her strength. If she's flying, it ain't because of her chest muscles.
I'm just saying from an animalistic point of view. They're not really big enough for a person of her size.
Does she look like a
gain lift.
bird?
But she is extremely strong.
Yes.
Emrys, by the way, it's up to you whether or not you wanted to listen into that, lip read that, or any other function, or whether or not they're just happy to have spoke that loud enough for you to also have heard what they've said.
I hear it. I'm certainly not eavesdropping on any conversations that wish to be
Whispered.
quiet.
Okay.
Yeah.
No
She
worries.
has something to tell us. I'm sure she'll come and tell us when she needs to.
Absolutely fine.
Probably when we're all falling to our deaths and there's one person that isn't.
Oh, did I not say?
Yeah, oh, by the way. So, you're at the supplies. Traeth, you are tired. You are capable of walking around. You just think anything like really, heavy exertion today might be best left alone.
I'm going to just kick back, chill, and assume he didn't just tear my arm off and pull a staff out of it. Because that's certainly how it felt.
It's certainly how it looked as well.
Thanks, Emrys.
You still
Any
hurt?
other way of getting out?
Aid or something?
Sorry, I didn't catch that, Lumi.
Are you hurting? Do you need first aid or something?
I don't think it's actually harmed me. But I think that something went wrong with the ritual because instead of the staff being a stick with some magic properties, it feels like it's an extension of me now. Like, I can physically feel what the staff touches.
Oh, it seems that it went right then.
No, because that's not how a druid staff should work.
Oh, okay.
I'm meant to hit people with it. Do you really? Oh, actually,
Yeah,
you're the wrong person to talk to about this.
The way that the ritual should work, for those who want to know, is you would normally have to go and find a suitable piece of wood that you then enchant. So the only suitable piece of wood you had at the time was your existing druid staff that you want to try and actually empower. But it already was empowered. So it probably wasn't...
The spell says you can use it on an existing lesser, a minor staff to a lesser.
So it either wasn't the fact that maybe the druid staff that he wanted to empower was capable, or something else completely strange happened because the existing druid staff that he had shattered, which left him with no staff material at all. So something strange went on there. You don't know what it is. It could have been doing it on top of those rocks.
It could have. I'm going with the fact that there's power in those rocks, and I don't quite know how to use it. And maybe I put a bit too much in.
Okay,
Right, that sounds more likely.
Perhaps tomorrow, if you wish to study them again.
I think I'll come back tomorrow when I've had enough long sleep. Yes, Emrys, that seems like a very wise idea. Tomorrow we'll come and look at the stones a second time.
Only look, not touch. Perhaps.
And maybe not
ritual.
what happens whilst we're looking at them.
No.
So if Lumi, Traeth, and Emrys have got nothing right now that's urgent, I will go to Ash.
Cool.
So Ash, yes, you get to the blacksmith. The smith, his name is Hagus Smith of all things. He is hammering away on his forge, making general implements and tools for the town, and sees you enter. How can he help?
Oh, what does he look like? Is he sort of like a young, old?
He is in his 30s. He's reasonably well kept compared to most people in this village. He seems to take a bit of care with the fact that, unlike the rest of us, he doesn't even have a beard. I thought we were going to go for maybe the whole dwarf expedition. We just need to try and persuade Lumi to put a false beard on. Anyway, and we could do Emrys the Beardless. For those who watch a certain Dwarf Fortress channel, bit of a plug there. That Emrys the Beardless would actually make relevance. Anyway, I am sidetracking. Going back to Ash. So yeah, he wants to know how he can assist you.
Oh, yes. Sorry, yes. Master Smith. Sorry. Let me start again. You are the Master Smith that helped make crossbows for the suppliers?
He looks a little bit shocked by the fact you're calling him Master Smith, and he was going to clearly correct you when you said it for a second time, but he decides, you can tell, just to bypass that and answer your final question, which is, yes, I do put together the crossbows for the militia in town, yes.
Are you able to repair crossbows?
Depends what's broken, to be honest.
I wouldn't know. My engineering and smithing skills they're a bit beyond me. They're not from around here, and I hold out the whole looking but rattling device to him.
He takes the crossbow off you. He says, this is a fine piece of work. He said that not one of his creations. This uses the trigger mechanism. He says it's much more useful for somebody to be maybe potentially walking around in a situation whereby they could come into combat, to have this trigger guard to stop it accidentally going off from the pedal version. And Bree says they're usually more intricate inside, because the pedal version is just a quick release, is where this has clearly got stuff inside that shouldn't be making that noise.
And that's the bit. Could you repair it so it no longer makes that noise and works?
He says that, he tells you what, if you can leave it with him for the day,
shouldn't be a problem.
He will do it for free. The reason why is he doesn't quite understand how this trigger mechanism works.
Let me guess, you wish to deconstruct it and possibly incorporate it in your own design, yes?
Correct. If he can actually work out how this trigger mechanism works, he could actually then upgrade the crossbows that their guards use, so that there are less chances of going off by accident.
In that case, certainly. Do you have a loaner? One that you haven't sold yet, and we can.
He does have some of the basic paddle crossbows that you can use until then. He does say that if you're used to using this kind, he wouldn't advise walking around with a bolt loaded like you would do on the trigger one. You could usually put like a little rest over the top of the bolt to stop it from coming off, and it doesn't accidentally go off because your finger's not on the trigger. This way with the paddles, it would just go off and shoot some random person.
That's why you put your hand and finger between the trigger and the stock. But I know what you mean.
Yeah. But
it's easily done.
Easily done. He doesn't quite know how good a crossbowman you are.
Me personally? I'm not used to a crossbow at all. Sorry, no.
Okay. And yes, he'll lend you one, and then tomorrow, if you can bring it back, he hopefully will have this one fixed. If not,
if it's a day or two, should be
he'll
fine.
do what he can.
And do you allow people to use your forge, your your anvil and the like for
Um,
repairs?
He doesn't usually, because usually there's nobody else here interested. If you have your own metal, and you're willing to assist with regards to the charcoal, in making some at the back in one of his burners and his kilns, then yeah, if you want to smelt some of your own ore, he has enough clays and materials at the back for you to create a little burner, so that's fine.
It's more just in case.
Okay,
I do a little smithing.
that's fine. As long as you assist your way, he doesn't mind.
In that case, thank you very much, Master Smith. And pleasure to see you.
And pleasure to see you. He still doesn't correct the fact you call him master, which he winces at when you say it, but he still leaves it be. And you head off.
And I head off.
Okay, if anybody else is going to do anything else, I will eventually come back to Rhiv, but he's going to take most of the day.
Yeah.
Just getting some supplies, that's all.
That's fine. As I said, no need for you to take much time unless there's anything particular you want to ask me. You can just shop off that list. If there's something special on that list, especially if you want to haggle the price of something on that list, then please do. Otherwise, it's going to be as listed. And that includes the apothecary too. There's a herb list I've shared around as well. And if you can afford anything off that list, please do. And Traeth is saying something we can't hear. There's probably something along the line of, how on earth does he get this much money, or can I sell him any of my stuff?
I'm not selling any of my stuff to that apothecary. He's
No worries.
clearly overcharging for some things that grew on trees.
That
but
is
I
generally
am-
the case with the apothecary, yes.
I am going to go in and sit in his shop and just chat to him.
That's
if
absolutely
he'll
fine.
have the company.
He'll tell you about the fact that he's popped over to see your frog folk, and he agrees. He says that your original thought about the fact that it seems to be affected by something, he agrees to as well. And he said that when he went over there first thing this morning, or late last night, the frog folk guy seems to be slightly less crazed and more with it. It's obviously upset the fact it's inside some kind of cage, and it still seems to be affected by something, but it doesn't seem to be that aggressive. It seems to be calming down.
Interesting. And I'll just chat herbs and stuff with him and just find out, if he knows any history of the stones behind his shop, or because he looks old.
Yeah, that's nice. He has one eye and all the rest of it, but
Well, there's a herb that'll cure that, and he owns it. So that's his
he
choice.
is quite happy to have one eye. It's not a problem. He'd rather sell those herbs. So he has been here for quite a long time. And as far as he knows, obviously the stones predate the village itself. There are many rumors about the stones. One of those rumors is it used to be a sacrificial site. And the reason why they think that is if you go and check really closely at the stones, especially at some of the less exposed parts, they seem to be a bit of a red staining to the stone, whereby it's been so much sacrificial stuff on those stones, it's actually embedded into the permeated into the very rock itself.
Okay.
But it's only a rumor that they have. It could actually have a completely other reason why there's a red permutation to the stone. But that's the one that they're going with because it sounds better.
100%. And I may have attempted to cast a druidic ritual at them earlier, and it went wrong.
He doesn't quite understand what that means.
I'm a druid. I deal with plants, trees, stones, animals. They're my...
you're an apothecary.
Yes, I'm an apothecary from a long line of apothecaries that also talk to animals.
Very nice. Very nice.
And I much admire your herb supply here, although I notice a few of them are due to perish shortly.
Yeah, he has obviously he's got gardens and a herb garden at the back. Some of the plants he have are very cherished, as you can imagine. But a lot of his herbs come from some of the foragers in town that specialize going out into the swamps to find things and bring back. But they only make money if he actually manages to sell those herbs. So sometimes they bring back herbs that are very rare, but quite often they'll sit on his shelf for a few weeks and then just have to be thrown out because nobody's buying them. There's nothing much you can do about that. Sometimes it's the cheap little ones that make the foragers the most amount of money because those are the ones that get used quite often. But it's always nice when you come back with something quite rare.
If you were to drop the price on the herbs that are due to expire, you might find somebody buys them.
The ones that you're particularly interested in are?
Well, I was just looking around the stuff that you had. I can see you've got, a fair few weeks left on most of them here. But you've got some of the roots and some of the lichens. They're going to expire shortly, but it was more the ones that don't tend to last too long. The lichens especially.
Some of the lichens and things that you're looking at, they've not actually been picked. That expiry date you kind of see on some of them is only once they've been taken away from their.
So he's growing them on the rocks and stones outside.
Some of the stuff here they do actually grow on situ. But some stuff they get brought back. If it's like a whole root system, then it's usually brought back from the swamps, in which case it will eventually perish and die. If it's stuff that's probably like leaves and things, then they're at the back more often. He'll go and pluck them for you fresh, so they will have as long a lifespan as they possibly can.
In which case, I can offer him some assistance if he wants. I can improve the yield of his lichens.
Okay, yeah, we can discuss how you're going to do that later. I have an idea. Being as exhausted as you are, there's probably not a lot you can do right now.
Today is not the day for doing this,
yeah.
But it's a question of I can come back and in exchange for some of the more common herbs, I can increase the stock you have of the rarer herbs or the less common herbs that sell better.
Yes, the stuff that he would potentially sell the most of would be the things that you'd be interested in. Okay.
Sounds like Traeth likes lichen.
Yeah. It's a beautiful symbiosis of two different plants, Ash.
There you go.
You lick rocks.
If it stands still long enough.
Is anybody else got anything else they wish to do, or they're going to wait for Rhiv? Okay.
Well, how long is we have no idea how long Rhiv is going to be.
You have no idea how long Rhiv's going to be.
It takes as long as it takes.
Well, we don't know. We don't know that any of the city. Don't know any of the town, really, do we?
No, you've only visited a few places. You can have a wander around if you wish. I mean, Lumi at some point is probably going to get accosted by the governor, who's going to want to show her the brewery. But that's
see my brewery.
Assignation.
The barrels of bogmog.
Yes, see if you can get a good deal.
Okay.
Use your womanly wiles.
Do you wish to move to that time of day?
I'm gonna offer if Traeth wants to go back to the stables, or are you okay? Just
I can walk and stagger around. I've got a staff to lean on if you need to have your. If you need sustenance, we can go back to the stables.
oh. I understand.
Oh, okay.
She had breakfast.
Yeah. I wasn't talking about eating. I was talking. Okay.
What were you talking about?
If you need sustenance.
Oh.
For some reason he's winking at you, Lumi. Bit strange.
Oh my god.
So, anything you're requiring?
Okay, right then. In that case, I will say Rhiv comes back after a few hours, which will probably be before the governor turns up at the inn looking for Lumi. Rhiv, you've turned up. the best you could really find is one of two choices. The first choice is an abandoned, it's not even a cottage. It's kind of like a... If you look on your map, you'll see that the ones closest to the swamp tend to be this shabby, basic stick affairs. There is an abandoned one of those to the south, in fact, actually in the direction you're looking at. That's just slightly off the map. It needs a bit of a fixer-upper, but nobody appears to be living there. Or the next option you really find is there's a farmer that's in the, yet again, just off the map to the north this time, whereby he seems to be on his own with a patch of land that's far too large for him. He can either not exist anymore,
You can't do that. Your
which is
crossbow's
option
not working.
one, or option two, maybe in exchange for a little bit of assistance now and again with him doing some stuff around his plot, he might be willing to let you have a barn or even part of his house for free. Choice is yours.
All right, well, I'll return to the group first off. Okay, we've got two choices. Shabby little hut thing made of wood, or farmer's place and we've got to do stuff.
I'm good with the second one.
I'm okay with the second one.
Now take us on the shabby little house. Going once?
Hang on a second. With the shabby little house, what would we have to do to it?
Nothing is. It's empty.
Yeah, just put an extra new bit of roofing on, which wouldn't take you long. You just pop into the swamp, pull out some various greenery, stick it up there, stop it from raining and coming through. We haven't checked the weather, but unless there's any storms soon, it'll hold with some basic repairs. If somebody wants to give me a weather watch, I can tell you whether or not there's going to be any major storms over the next day.
Certainly.
Emrys, help me? Or can I help you?
I'll certainly give it some weather
Shenanigans,
That's Who
he
is it?
says.
Weather watching. Nope.
79.
Wait
It-
till Emrys rolls, because he might have a better idea. We'll put our heads together.
Yep. Go for it, Emrys.
I think that means the pair of you are a shower.
Oh dear.
I know, I'm sorry. I'll get me coat.
He's here all day. Where's my weather watching? Goodness sake.
Isn't it under others?
It's probably at the very
I think you
bottom.
might be right. I think you might be right. Right at the bottom, is it? Yes, it literally is the last
Exactly.
one.
And the weather.
Fun fact: if on Roll20 you open up your character sheet in a new tab, you could use the Control F function.
Useful to know.
There you go.
I
All you
did
Roll20
just check that
users?
because I was like,
What's Control F?
Fine.
fine. Control F,
Ah,
type
that's-
in
I see what you're
the
saying.
skill you're after, and then it'll take you straight the neck, where the word appears.
Command F, Emrys.
125. Right. I'll deal with
Yeah.
Traeth first. Traeth. This is near. You're still early autumn. But the weather does change. It starts to rain a lot more, a lot colder, a lot more windier. You don't notice anything major that's going to be a problem. Emrys, excellent weather watching. You think that there's no obvious storm predictions in this area, not for anything that's going to be serious enough to potentially damage roofs, but you also think that you should be capable of making a sufficient repair to the roof of this little hut that it would take quite a strong storm to do damage to the roof anyway. So with that weather watching and combining it with looking at the roof, you're pretty sure you should be able to be fine living here unless some major late autumn storms hit this place.
I think maybe somewhere more private is the best place.
Well, we have
Possibly,
options, I mean,
yes.
we have a shed, or we have a farmer where he will want us to do work.
Yeah, there's no problem doing a bit of work around the farm. It may even be free food in it.
I have no great opinion either way. I do not mind. I can do the basic woodworking. I'm not too bad at.
And I imagine the huts are just one room town, is it?
Yeah, it's only one floor, but you could probably, I mean, it's a reasonable space. It would be enough whereby there is a fireplace at one end, or it can be repaired to be an active fireplace at one end. And the rest of the room would be one communal sleeping area, but it's big enough whereby you could have maybe get a table in there and a few chairs and have somewhere to eat, and somewhere you could crash in the corner. It would sleep a small family, but it's a single floor, one room affair.
Well, what do people want to do?
Genuinely don't mind.
Rhiv,
I mean, I'm used to sleeping in pretty awful places, so I'm fine with either.
Traeth.
Seeing as we've had 2 people vote for farm, I suppose we might as well do that.
Yeah, I'm voting for farm.
The farm would actually be more exposed in the ban, and you would actually have to be sleeping with whatever livestock are in that ban. Not.
I think our own hut then. Yes.
Yeah.
Our own hut.
We can make it. We can
This way.
and make it better anyway with a minimal work.
I will need some
Okay.
help, but yes, I have. I put up. I erect enough campsites and so on, and I have some woodworking skills, so I should be able to fix it up.
Well, as Rhiv takes you to go and show you this hut, you actually have to walk past the lumberyard to the southwest corner of the town. And you head out that way, and you can see a badly worn hut with a damaged roof that seems to be abandoned. You're actually within sight of the ruins as well, just on a southern corner of the map.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, the hut is actually just off the map, but that's fine.
Ruins.
Guess where the hut is.
Near
we
the
gonna
ruins.
have
That's right, actually, where you're pinging.
Tiptoe to the ruins.
Well, we could always have a pier. I'm always intrigued in the decayed civilization.
Okay. You can wander up past the ruins on the way back.
Lumi's good stone, isn't she? Couldn't we perhaps use some of the old stone in the ruins to do something better than a hut?
She does like her stone, does Lumi. So you head towards where the ruins are, and it doesn't take long before you notice this very large skeletal remains of what appears to be a giant snake. It's just being left there in the town and on the edge of these ruins. The ruins themselves, they don't seem to be of the same structure as the houses nearby. They're definitely of a different stone material. Older, yet again. You can go and investigate if you wish.
Are they similar stone?
No, a completely different stone to those dark stones that are in the middle of town.
Blood-stained dark stones.
Maybe.
So how large are these ruins then?
I mean, you can see them on the map. They span a couple of houses worth at most. They're not vast. Maybe 100 foot across.
That is a big snake. Was a big snake.
As you head towards the snake to have a admire at how big this snake is, you hear a voice from behind you saying,
voice from behind.
I'd leave that alone if I was you.
At least it was Nicolas Cage.
And you look around, and there's an old guy with a crossbow on his lap, on a rocking chair on the edge of the ruins, just rocking back and forth with his crossbow on his lap. And he's looking at you. He
Oh,
doesn't
that
seem to have any
reminds me.
teeth left, but for those that he has in his gummed kind of mouth. My father killed that snake, and I'm waiting for the next snake to.
Well, let us hope then that the snake that you have killed will frighten off the others and none will ever show up.
No, I definitely want another to turn up. My dad killed that one, and I want to be the guy that...
I'm going to sort of shimmy my way over to stand next to Ash and whisper to him, I think he's crazy.
What in if I think you're right? Oh, by the way, look in my backpack.
Why am I looking in your backpack?
There's a crossbow for you.
Oh, thank you.
Why am I whispering?
I don't know. And I'll start fishing through the backpack for the crossbow.
Why are they whispering?
I have no idea. Well, I applaud your tenacity, sir.
Well, that's besides the point, to be honest.
And have you seen the next big snake yet?
No, but since my dad is Polis Roofing, the Great Serpent Slayer, then I suppose the only way I'm going to live up to his title is to find the next snake.
But do you need to live in the shadow of your father?
I don't know what you mean. I'm Darius Roofing, son of the man that killed the Great.
Okay, well, don't stay out in the sun too long.
No, don't you worry. I'm in the shade. If the big snake turns up, I'll be sure to have it.
Oh, I found it! And I put the crossbow out. Hang on,
Oh,
this ain't my
you've got a crossbow too, have you? I don't want you round here, because if that snake turns up, he's mine.
You are
Don't
welcome.
you go shooting him. I'm the son of the Great Serpent Slayer, not you. He's
Please don't go shooting
mine.
Snake Ash.
How did your father slay this beast?
Oh, it was a great battle, apparently, but I think he shot him.
No idea.
So
I've got one of his bolts here on my crossbow that he made himself with his hands. They must be the giant serpent slaying bolts.
or at least if not giant serpent slaying, maybe giant serpent repelling.
No, he definitely didn't repel it. He definitely killed it. There it is.
No,
It's
no.
dead. Look.
Yeah, but I'm
Can
saying
we
is
have a
that
walk
maybe-
over to the bones and start having a little look around them? And
You want to look at
Does
the
it still have-
bones? You can look at them, but don't you
Does
go
it still-
touching no bones. They're not yours. They're my dad's, and then they're mine. They're my bones.
Rhiv,
Yeah, sorry, I'm a bit distracted by the crazy old man. Yeah?
can I possibly have a copper penny, please?
Oh.
That's copper. I'll
At this
take
point,
the copper coin out and I'll just hand it to him.
it's fine. At this
Excuse
point,
me.
at this point, before you do anything else,
Oh.
you see a man in his
Giant serpent.
late 20s, maybe early 30s, turns up, and he instantly starts trying to calm his must be relative of some kind. Then he says, "Oh, dad, be calm down," and he looks at you guys. I do apologize to both. My father gets really, really wound up sometimes when people get a bit close to the snake. I hope you're all okay. And he's, shut up, son. You're just the grandson of the Great Serpent Slayer. And like, okay, Dad. Just chill.
Sis, one moment of your time. May I possibly pay you a single copper penny to examine the wonderful bones of your father and grandfather, the serpent that they slew?
I'm sure that would be fine. I'll keep an eye on Dad. Don't worry. You'll be okay. You go have a little look.
Here, Please take your penny to view your attraction.
But thank you for the copper. Wonderful. That's a really good idea. Yeah, I like that. Maybe we can put a little sign up.
What was it you were about to say, Emrys?
Well, it's fine. We'll just walk over towards them. What I wanted to do
What are
all
they
along
doing?
is go
Why are
over
they
the
going
bloody
near the
thing.
bones?
That's
guys,
how it
okay,
works,
guys.
isn't it, Rhiv?
Okay.
If
And has
somebody
it got teeth?
is complaining
Just
about
looking
something,
at-
you pay the money and they stop complaining, like the cart.
If you pay them enough,
In this case, a copper penny seems to be sufficient.
apparently so.
Yeah, but he was bonkers.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's undoubtedly crazy.
He's
Living
still
in the
watching you,
shadow
by the way,
of
guys.
Can we not linger? I feel very uncomfortable with an old man holding a crossbow and
I'd
waving
I'd
it.
like to check out the
direction.
bones of the snake and just work out whether it was a boy snake or a girl snake.
Well, you're looking at its hips, are you?
Okay.
Well, it's more along the lines of if it's a girl snake, it's highly likely to be more snakes. If it's a boy snake, it could have just been massive.
You could. It's not anthropology of the bones is probably going to be a bit difficult for you, but give me a roll. Just give me a percent dice roll. I know you're a druid. Maybe you can work something out.
Has it got teeth?
He's not a necromantic druid.
Yet, although given the what happened with the altar, maybe 70.
That's on a straight D100 roll, yeah.
Straight 100, yeah, nothing happened.
The best you can tell is you think it's some kind of boa of some kind, just on a massive scale. These bones have been here for a long time, and although he's obviously tried to keep an eye on them, I mean, a lot of them have just been snatched by various things over the years and eaten or taken away, so it's not a whole skeleton. You're not sure, but if his grandfather killed it, that's probably... No, sorry, if his father killed it, that's probably got to be, at least 20, 30 years ago. You're not quite sure, but these bones have been here for quite some time.
Excuse me, young man. To the side.
Yes. He wanders a little away from his from his father and comes on over.
That hut over there, is it in use?
Oh, no, nobody's lived there for a while now.
Eaten by snakes.
Really? No, I don't think they have been.
So it would be okay then if we were to move in for a
Oh,
bit.
you want to be like neighbours? Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, help yourself.
We can look after. Let's make sure your father doesn't get into too much trouble occasionally.
As long as you're not a giant snake, you should be fine.
The last time I looked, I definitely wasn't.
I'll try not to be.
Don't go messing with the snake too much, though. He does get a little bit uppity. And although he probably won't shoot to kill you, his aim is not as good as it used to be. So you never quite know where he's going to shoot it in the dark.
I would also get
What
up if
happened
somebody was to look at my
conversation?
snake.
Can I go over where the snake is and actually examine his... Has it got any teeth, Tony?
They do have some teeth. They're not. If it's a boa, then they're not. They don't have fangs. They don't inject poison. They have
I know.
backwards
They usually
facing
have them
teeth
to
to,
hold, don't they?
to grip. Yeah, so they're usually back teeth to hold, so they can then constrict around. So they have a holding set of teeth, but not an injecting set of fangs. They have a holding grasp.
I'll take one of those out of the loose...
A crossbow
Take
bolt
down.
will...
Well, he was talking.
he's-
I was like,
No, the old man wasn't.
Touch there again, son, and I won't be missing, I can tell you. I practiced at this bow all my life, waiting for the snake.
I was
Oh,
just seeing
dare ya.
teeth were. I was seeing how big these teeth were.
I'm gonna make my way
You
over to
leave
Emrys.
my snake bones alone. They're mine. You want to steal something, I'll be stealing something from you, son.
What about
Emrys,
a tooth?
Psst, Emrys.
What about a tooth?
You want to buy a tooth from me, you come talk to me.
He seems to have sobered up quite keenly, isn't he? I'll wander over to the old man.
Okay, he's staring right at you.
Can someone tell me why we're purchasing a
This could be old man combat again.
Old man combat.
No, I don't hit old men. I might be an old man, but I don't hit old men. Not generally, anyway.
What was that? What was that, Rhiv?
Are we really buying?
The son comes over and basically tries to calm everything down again. It's like, okay, he was just looking. He wasn't taking one. Were you? You weren't taking any bones, were you? No, just looking, Dad.
I certainly
Okay,
didn't take any bone.
If Emrys wants a snake fang, why not just sneak here in night and take one?
Yes.
He's probably going to be in the bushes waiting for you.
Emrys, Rhiv, if you said that loud enough for Emrys to respond.
No, I was whispering to like Ash and the others who were like,
yeah. So Emrys, you can't respond to that.
Yes, I'm quite interested in one of the teeth.
What will you be wanting with my snake tooth then? Are you some kind of strange snake tooth pervert?
Snake tooth pervert. Well,
Yes, indeed, he went there.
Oh my word!
there's not a lot you can say to that, really, is there?
Not a sausage.
I don't think. You know, sometimes you'd say somebody might have lost his shillings. I don't think this guy's got any shillings.
Yeah, I'm gonna head on to the hut.
Yeah,
I'm
it's like
following.
Yeah, I think,
there's enough crazy in this area.
yeah, there's bonkers in this
Yeah, well, while
crazy, and
you're
it's very
walking away, make
awkward.
sure you don't slither as you go.
Yeah, okay. You keep your teeth. I'm certainly not that interested in the tooth.
Hasn't
What
said
are you
that
saying
farm-
about
that
my
farm is
teeth? Because
wicked.
I haven't got many teeth left. You trying to take the piss, son?
I couldn't possibly comment.
Oh, you mean the snake teeth? You leave those alone, they're mine.
I seem to be going round and round here.
Pack of four, pack of four.
Bye-bye.
He's going to start saying pieces of eight in a minute, I'm sure.
I love the fact that we come all the way to the swamp and end up in Bristol.
The son tries to calm his dad down again. Sorry, Traeth, what were you saying?
I said that's really unfair on people who live in Bristol.
It certainly is.
Quite a few of us appear to be just heading over to the thing, and I'll try and figure out how much shingle or wood's needed to repair the building.
As I said, there's actually a lumberyard nearby.
Yeah. Ask the lumber mill.
Yeah.
You can see already just by passing the lumberyard that there's an awful lot of off-cut wood that's not actually going to be of much use to the carpenters. I mean, they're making proper beams and joints for the housing here. The offcuts and the bits that are there, I'm sure you could probably offer just to clean them out of his yard to save him doing it or burning it. Some of it might be used to make charcoal, but to be honest, there's not enough of it for that either. You're doing him a favour by taking some of it away.
You've got carpentry skill, Ash, have you not?
I have, yes.
Perhaps we go and have words with the lumber mill, see if we can
Well,
clean
what
up
I'll do
their
is,
yard.
while Lumi is off on her,
She needs to get back to
Assignation.
the inn about now.
oh no, isn't she going over for sustenance? No.
Suddenly, Lumi's become a vampire that's going to feed on everybody.
It was the word that Traeth used.
Yeah,
I thought that was
yeah.
what it meant. If Lumi is going over for her tour, while Lumi's going over for her tour, I'll offer to tidy up the lumber mill and get some wood to repair this.
Do you have any diplomacy or something like that you can roll? One of the four of you that are going to hang around the lumber mill while Lumi's
you.
off.
I'll go with Ash.
I'll
He
smile
can do the lifting. He can do the lifting. I'll do the talking.
Yeah, so if somebody could do a diplomacy check for me, then I'll
Please do,
go to
because I
Lumi.
don't even have that as a category.
No, empathy is definitely not where you go. I understand. Don't worry.
Empathy. Oh, that should be. Empathy, empathy. They've all got empathy.
The boot.
Yay, good word.
It's all right.
So, yeah, diplomacy roll from Emrys.
Where are your diplomacy?
Command F.
Downloading.
Yeah. Command F and type dip.
Or just look at D.
Command F, cast dip.
Okay, while you're doing that, we'll go to. Oh, he's gonna. Oh yeah, he's got.
He's manually
He's
typing
got
it.
there. Oh, that's the case maybe. Well, Lumi, so you head back to the inn, just as it's getting towards the evening, and strangely enough, standing outside the inn, wondering where his potential guest is Falden Jack, the governor.
Hey.
Oh, here you are, my lady. Oh, yes. I was just waiting here to offer you a tour of the brewery. I don't know if you remember last night.
I do remember, yes. Sorry, we
Oh,
were just looking around the town. Nice
yeah. Well, I mean, I could offer you a tour around the village. The village isn't that exciting, but my place of residence and the brewery is a magnificent place. I can show you a few places on the way if you like.
Magnificent.
I'm really by myself with this guy, yeah?
You are, yes.
What did you actually
Yeah, you're on your own on this one.
Oh
Good
yeah.
luck.
Because if he just turns up mysteriously drained of all his blood in the swamp, we're not going to say anything.
We won't say nothing.
it was justifiable homicide.
Yep. So long as you make sure that you say the hat did it, we're good.
At which point he holds out his hand slightly. You're not quite sure whether or not he's waiting for you to walk ahead or whether or not you should hold his hand. But one of the two.
Then,
The person with the streetwise would want that.
well, I'm not going to hold his hand because I think it's even more awkward than just walking forward.
You walk forward, in which this case he walks with you and says, and here you can see that on the left here is the Coopers. We were, my family were responsible really for getting that man's livelihood off the ground. Obviously we need barrels and we need lots of barrels. So the Coopers there is I mean, to say that their whole life is indebted to us. I mean, obviously we wouldn't expect such a thing from them, but it is the case. It's just most of this whole village really is only here because of the hard work that myself and my family do for this village and the brewery and making sure that we have guards to keep us all safe. Don't worry, while you're with me, you'll be perfectly. Nobody here would risk doing anything to upset me, so you'll be perfectly safe when you're here. In fact, when we get closer to the
Very
brewery,
safe.
I'll make sure we have some guards. It'll be fun. So
And
with
you're-
that, he walks you towards the brewery, but first he stops and points to his well-appointed home there attached to the edge of the brewery. This, he says, is the Jack family home. It is where myself and my son now reside, along with several guards and housekeepers. Sadly, my late wife is passed on. But yes, we do look after it now, myself and Halton, my son. I'll introduce you to Halton later. If you want, we can have a little look inside of the family home later. And with that, he walks on around the corner to the brewery itself and heads into the brewery. There is a kind of what you would say would be the trade sort of guest entrance, but he walks you past. Instead, he goes up to what was clearly going to be a staff-only entrance, and he gets a key out and he unlocks the door and invites you in and closes the door behind you. Inside, you can see that you are basically in the area that's behind the counter area for the brewery. There are several members of staff working there. They look up, they see Falden enter first and think nothing of it, but then they see you walking with him, and they all kind of stop and stare, still trying to do whatever work they need to do, but just kind of looking in that direction. He closes the door and says, "May I take your cloak?"
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Oh,
I'll keep it
okay,
on.
fine. And he takes his cloak off and puts it up on the hangers, and wanders on in and starts taking you for a tour around the brewery, where you can see various large vats and casks, and he shows you straight away to an area that produces very small little barrels that are for, I mean, you could say tourists, but it's not really a tourist industry, but sometimes some of the merchants and sometimes the people that come here to buy the bogmug ale. I can't even say it now. But I've lost it. To buy the ale, actually want their bugmog ale actually want to like take away almost like a keepsake version with some specially carved out sort of like little casks. They do those, and he shows you some of them. And he says that don't worry. He says that he'll arrange for you to have a specialty one of them later. You then make your way into the main brewery part, where he introduces you to his son Halton, who is working hard, ordering people around and making sure that things are being tapped off in the right order and tasting ale. And you think this is quite a large area. They must produce an awful lot of this ale. And even while you're here, a few merchants are actually at the counter ordering and buying in ale the various villages around the place. You notice there's quite a few guards inside this building. They're dressed better than the guards you saw outside. They have swords as opposed to just a rubbishy crossbow. They seem to be wearing much finer leathers, and full leathers, not just a breastplate, but all greaves, etc. as well. And in some cases, the leathers they're wearing are very heavy. They're multi-layered, thick leather and coating. Quite excessive, really, for what they're guarding, but he clearly wants them to be outfitted well. It's at that point that you overhear a conversation at the counter. So I want you to give me a general perception roll, please, to see just how well you hear this conversation.
Come with my +1.
Fantastic.
Really, +1.
Yep, she's no Rhiv.
Oh, it's gone up because 7 to
Ooh.
6. Oh.
37. You're not sure what is being said, but clearly one of the traders at the counter is worried and concerned about something. You can't hear what, but he's making a little bit of a scene. And although Falden does look over to try and sort of see what's going on, he kind of doesn't linger, and he just continues to try and show you the brew.
I say to him, is he okay? Do you...
I mean, do you want to know what he's saying? I mean, I mean, you are my guest. He seems to be okay.
I just thought maybe you would talk to him and...
He just seems to be going on about the fact that there's a big problem down at Blaketown of some kind. Not really my concern. I don't come from Blaketown. I mean, do you come from Blaketown?
Where we came from, yeah?
No.
Okay.
I know it sounds the same, but it's a different place.
Blaketown.
Yeah,
No,
totally different.
we're from there. If there's a problem, I wouldn't mind listening in.
You kind of came past Blaketown on your way to,
Okay.
Baletown, from where you were from. Seemed to be a small little mining village of some kind. So I'm not sure what could be such a problem that some guy's freaking out about.
I don't know. Blatantly obvious if I go over there. I think maybe. I mean, he's a customer of yours. Did you make sure he's okay?
This is clearly worrying you, my
He is
darling.
worrying. Yes.
He probably cringed when he says darling. And he says that if this is worrying you, he says, then let's go and put this guy's fears to rest. So he heads on over to the counter. Hello, good sir, he says that how may I be of assistance in your troubles? I mean, maybe if we can offer this gentleman some a free drink or two of our ales, see if we can calm him down. At which point the trader replies and says, no, he says that I'm fine. It's just I've just gone down to Blaketown to sell some wares and drop off some goods. Everybody's dead. The whole goddamn town is. There's just bodies in the streets, man. The houses are smashed. Buildings are smashed. There's just flies hovering above people, just been laying on the ground. With that, Balden looks a little bit shocked. He wasn't expecting to try and calm that down. And then motions to some of the staff to fetch this gentleman some of the more stronger stuff. And gets him to sit down and starts caring for him. And with that, folks, we will end.
Dum dum dum.
Dum dum dum. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much to the viewers yet again and the wonderful subscribers. Please subscribe.
Click that big like button.
Click that big like button.
Oh, and the notification bell too. Never
And
forget about
just
the
before we go, I did actually want Emrys to do a diplomacy check.
Yep.
Did you want to do one? Otherwise, I'll forget for next session. So go for it now, quickly.
Do it next session or no?
Do it now. Emrys, 137.
Oh, gee, you're on a roll tonight, aren't you?
That's just ridiculous. Okay.
Okay.
While this is all going on, all I can say is Emrys asks Ash to point out what wood would be the most appropriate for the house, at which point Ash walks around pointing at various pieces of wood, and Emrys don't know what he's arranged with this lumber guy, but he's just said, you know what, you're going to be my neighbours. Have it. Take the wood you want, including some nice pieces of lumber you take as well, some really nice planks.
Thank you very
Good
much.
stuff for the wood. And then we will definitely end it this time.
There we go.
And
Yay.
thank you and goodbye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Be in the carpet. Yeah.